It is September 6th, 2020, and this is my little monthly chit-chat, unscripted and off the cuff. But today I thought about this idea of being prepared for your good fortune. Now, as you know, insurance companies make a fortune. They are extremely rich based upon the probability of disasters. That's what they do. We think we're going to have an auto accident, so we have an insurance to replace the car. We think something is going to go wrong with our house, so we have an insurance to replace the house or to at least get it repaired. We think we're going to die. Well, we don't think. We know we're going to die. And in our mind, we need enough money to leave for those that are dependent on us. And, of course, to bury us. Well, those are the disastrous things that can happen. But I have noticed something very interesting, and that is an awful lot of people, comparatively speaking, have won the lotto. And in winning the lotto, they get hold of a lot of money, only to be flat broke within a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. Okay? Why? Because they were not prepared for their good fortune. Now, this is what I wanted to chit-chat about today. To be prepared for your good fortune. Now, first of all, I would like you to revise, to review, and to look at again Microdacism rule number 9. Your happiness depends entirely on you and your dependency on others or other things. This is extremely important to what I'm about to tell you. First of all, I think every single person should be prepared for their good fortune. Well, what you need to do is to calculate how much money would make you happy. Now, I'm talking about you personally. How much money would it take to make you happy? Don't calculate how much money you're going to give away. Don't look at how much money you're going to give to the charities. Don't look at how much money you're going to give to relatives. Don't look at any of that. Just think about you. How much money would it take for you to be happy? Now, when you do this, calculate how much you'd need without greed, without thinking of others, and without donating to charities, okay? Now, just think about your personal happiness. Now, having said that, take the time out to actually get pencil and paper and write down how much money would it take for you to be happy. Now, first of all, you might say, well, gee, I can understand no greed and I can understand no thinking of others, but what about these charities? Well, you've got to understand that of every 100 charities, I would say 90 out of every 100 charity is self-serving. What do I mean by that? The charities were created to make money for the charities, not for the benevolence of it. Do me a favor and Google cancer organizations. Google cancer charities. And what you're going to find there are literally thousands of them. And the reason for that is because the word cancer invoke a lot of fearful thoughts. And people will give to the cancer research. What they don't understand ordinarily is that when it comes to cancer research, just about every medical school are doing the research right now for cancer, okay? They don't need your money because the government is subsidizing the research. The Howard Hughes Medical Institute is doing a lot of research in cancer. They don't need your money. So all these groups that have been developed for cancer are self-serving. Not all of them, but most of them are self-serving. In other words, they collect money for cancer, knowing that all they have to do is to donate 4% of what they collect to cancer. So they write a check to whatever, the American Cancer Society or a charity, a legitimate charity, for the 4%. The rest are self-serving. It goes as salary for the person who originated the charity. Now, this does not apply to all charities, just to most of them. The other thing that you need to understand is the difference between owning something and using something. Just because you can afford an airplane, for example, doesn't mean that you should buy one. How often do you actually need to be flying an airplane? Just because you can own a boat doesn't mean that you should own a boat. What I'm trying to tell you is that the use of something is not the same thing as ownership of something. This is very important. So when you calculate the amount of money you're going to need, don't consider what you're going to purchase, not when you can actually lease or rent for the use of that same thing. Do you understand? Now, what you need to do is to be very specific as to the amount of money you're going to need. In my case, I have done the calculations, and what I need is $177,000. Now, why would I need $177,000? Because I don't really need for ownership of anything. What I'd like to do is to have the security of use of a place to live. So, I'm 75 years old, and if I can lease a place for 20 years, after I'm dead I won't need it, or if I can so-called rent to own a place, then that's all I need. I don't need to own the property. I would also like to leave what I call a parachute fund for my grandkids and for relatives that are in need of money. You say, well, what's a parachute fund? Well, it's a fund. Let's say that I have $70,000 in this fund, and if a relative needs funding, then they go into this fund, get the money, take care of their emergency, and replace the fund. So it's a self-perpetuating fund. You understand? So that's what I would do. Now, I need transportation, but I don't need a brand new car, nor do I want a brand new car. Because with a brand new car, you have the expenses of not only the taxes on that brand new car, but also the insurance on that brand new car, when the use of a car is really what I need. Right now, I drive a 10-year-old Prius, Toyota Prius, and it serves my need very well, okay? So what I would do, I would get a car that serves my need. In other words, I look at the use of the car. Keep in mind, I have no interest whatsoever in impressing anyone. No one. That is off my chart. I have no interest in doing that. So I've reached a stage in my life when I do things for me, to please me. Back to microdacism, rule number 9. What makes me happy? So that's basically what I wanted to talk about. I've talked about charities and what they're all about. So don't include charities. I've talked about having a fund, if you wish to do so that relatives and your grandchildren perhaps can access this money. In other words, it's sort of like the elastic. When you go on the internet and you look at elastic, elastic provides you a cushion to get money when you need it at a very high price. Except that the fund will be there where people would use it in an emergency and simply replace it. The cottage, I just need a cottage, that's all. I don't need to own the property. I love nature, so my cottage would have a meadow in the backyard, and I would have feral animals running around. So that's what I would need. Transportation, I already talked about that. So, do yourself a favor, get pencil and paper, and figure out what you would do when you have experienced the fortune when you have experienced good fortune of a lot of money. Now, are you going to make this money? Are you going to get this money? Probably not. But the point is that you're prepared for it. So don't buy a lotto ticket for $15 billion when you don't need it. Buy a ticket for, say, $100,000, $500,000. And then there in your mind you will have the possibility and probability of good fortune. So, it's September 6th. It's a beautiful day out, and I have enjoyed our little chit-chat. Don't forget to write to me often. I will try to answer you, and in my next little chit-chat, I am going to address the problem of being stressed out or depressed and not knowing what to do about it. I have come up with a solution that I think will work. Until next time, take care.